Yesterday my mom and I went out to a restaurant to get some dinner. We haven't been out to eat since pre-pandemic, so this was a treat for us. We got there before the dinner rush, so about 10 minutes after we were sat and ordered, tons of people started turning up. One group was a family of 7. Parents, a teen girl, a preteen boy, 2 toddler girls, and a baby boy. They'd taken up 2 tables to the left of us and started up instantly with a ruckus. Our waitress was swamped, her whole section got filled in the span of 5 minutes, so I didn't blame her for being stretched thin. But the dad next to us was audibly complaining about the shit-tier service. I heard him say, "I know how to get her attention," before we saw him pull out what I thought was a $20. But then I saw the other side of it, and it was white with some text. I instantly knew what it was and was appalled. I watched him fold the 20 in half and tuck it under the ketchup. The waitress saw it too and brightened and was extra nice to them. I was disgusted because I was a server for 10 plus years, so I've had people pull that on me, and it's devastating to be paid pennies and think, "Oh, I'm getting a good tip." Only to have the rug yanked out from under you with one of those fake money Bible verse pamphlets. I told my mom I was going to tell the waitress, but she said for me to mind my own business. I told her what they were doing was shitty, and despite her hushing, I waved the waitress over when my drink got low and gestured for her to lean in a bit before whispering that the 20 the table had out was fake. It was just one of those pamphlets disguised as money. She looked stunned but thanked me. Afterwards it was pretty obvious that that table was getting the least amount of attention she could get away with giving them. She didn't ignore them, but they were definitely her absolute last priority. I guess they didn't like that and left ASAP, leaving the fake 20 there. And yeah, I saw her pick it up, check it, then toss it. I felt really bad for her, she was clearly busting her ass. So I left her a really good tip, 3x the usual amount I leave. On the ride home my mom and I got into an argument. She was mad at me for being meddlesome in things that didn't concern me. But I think I did the right thing. I'd have wanted someone to tell me if I'd been in her shoes. I got mad and snapped that she was just as bad as the dick who thought leaving a Bible verse was adequate payment. She yelled for me to not raise my voice at her, but I said I wouldn't have if she'd been a decent person. But then my brother agreed with her, so now I'm at a loss. Was I the a-hole for snapping at my mom? Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. And bless you for having that poor woman's back. I've never worked for tips, but I know what it feels like to be promised an award, horseback ride for cleaning my room to mom's satisfaction, and get trash in return, coin op horsey machine in front of Kmart. Bait and switch sucks. I'm sorry your horsey dreams were dashed. Not the a-hole, you did a good thing. But even if your mother disagrees, why is she meddling in things, as in your actions, that don't concern her? She said it did concern her, because she was there with me and was embarrassed. How was she embarrassed? From your description you were very discreet, unlike the other person. As a former server and just a decent human, thank you. You did the right thing. Not the a-hole at all. The world needs people like you. Not meddlesome but doing the right thing. They deserved it for having that kind of audacity. I, 20, work full-time, from 8 to 5 from Monday to Friday. I am currently working from home due to world events. I also live on my own. My sister, 18, goes to college classes in the evenings and works a couple days a week. Ever since my sister has started her evening college classes, a couple months now, every family event is centered around her schedule. Her college classes start at 5 in the evening, so our schedules overlap. Meaning, if we have dinner, they eat before I am off work to coordinate with my sister, so when I get there around 5:15–5:30, I'm stuck eating alone, while everyone has already ate or sometimes is already leaving. The issue in this matter is my grandma's birthday party. My mom put it together. Same sort of deal, my sister had class, I had to work until 5. I asked if instead of centering it around my sister's schedule, if she could be the one to eat early, and we fit into my schedule this time. My mom said it made more sense to fit around my sister's schedule. When I asked why, because I literally couldn't think of a difference it would make, she said it just does. I spoke with my grandmother and she said she would wait to eat with me, but everyone else wouldn't. She also could not understand the reasoning behind it, but she said, since she was not the one cooking or planning, she didn't feel she had much control over it. I told my mom that unless we could start alternating, fitting with my sister's schedule one time then mine the next, I would just start skipping out on family dinners and that it was not fun to always have to be the one eating alone. My mom told me I was being an a-hole and immature about the whole thing. I just don't feel it's fair the way we are doing it right now. Mine and my sister's are the only schedules that need to be worked around. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole, why go to a family event if you are going to be alone anyway? Right? That's my thoughts. If it wasn't for my grandmother wanting to see most of us together tomorrow I wouldn't go and I would just see her another day. It makes no sense. Don't go to any others unless your grandmother is there or others who want you around. Maybe start having dinners with just your grandmother, ensure she'd love individual bonding time with you. She sounds lovely. Not the a-hole, your request wasn't unreasonable. They seem biased towards your sister. This is what I thought as well. I could see getting angry if I just wanted my schedule to be worked around, but just alternating would be fair I think. Not the a-hole. Dinner before 5 is honestly really early, and it isn't fair that you aren't able to eat with family. In my opinion, it would make sense to plan dinners around your schedule timing-wise, and besides the way things are right now, your family is making you feel unwelcome. Your mom's reasoning doesn't make sense, unless it means that they don't value your time as much as your sister's, which isn't fair. I try to give all details you maybe need, feel free to ask questions. All names are changed. I, 32, born from my mother, Clara's 57, infidelity, she is married to Greg. I have 4 siblings 36, 34, 26, 24. My grandparents have raised me because Greg refused to raise another man's child and there was no paternity test needed because I was a mixed child, so my father has to be black. I never met him, don't even knew his name. My grandma was an American-Italian housewife, she was clearly my caretaker, and for me my only mama. Grandpa was a very strict, but also caring man, and was always an idol to me. Both my grandparents were furious to my mother, not only because of her cheating, but because she abandoned me. This situation led to my grandparents' decision to make me the only one who inherit almost everything. My grandma died with 64 from a heart attack and grandpa died with 71 lung cancer. Grandpa had a life insurance, I was the only beneficiary, almost $300k. I got the house I was raised in, marked value $280k, and last grandpa created a family fund with $400k. I had to manage it. The rules for this fund are simple, I can use it only for emergency, health, crises like now, and only for me and my half-siblings. Clara and Greg are not included in this fund. Until now, I have paid for A's IVF for her fertility issues, nearly $40k. Her health insurance hasn't covered it, and C's appendix removal, $15k. Health insurance has covered a great part. So far no problems. But D plans to have plastic surgeries, a whole package of it, breast, nose, hips and more. It would erase nearly the half, what is left in the fund. I refused because it is not an emergency. I would be okay with paying for plastic surgery if it is needed, example if an accident happened, but she just wants her makeover for her boyfriend. Of course, we had an argument which was not so pretty and they threatened to sue me. They had sued me before, but grandpa had made sure everything is totally fine. So, am I the a-hole if I stand on my feet? Not the a-hole. Stand your ground, that's not an emergency in the slightest, let them try to sue you, as long as you have some form of proof. You don't need to give her anything for non-emergencies. Everything is solid in his will and there are no misunderstandings. Perfect, if she tries to pull any BS that might work in her favor, just explain it would take what's left, which could be used for an actual emergency. Personally I'd cut that relationship off as soon as possible. Not the a-hole, your grandparents had amazing foresight in choosing you as administrator of their legacy. Good work. Not the a-hole. Your grandpa made it very clear that it's for health reasons only. You were kind to give money to your sibling for IVF treatment as it's not really emergency. Your other half-sister though, she's taking the piss. If she has a problem with the way she looks then she can pay herself. I would be careful having a relationship with them. Especially because they know that you have money, so will only keep a relationship with you to get cash. I keep my distance as it is possible. I decide to pay for her IVF because she tried many times to have a child and was out of money, and it saw like her mental health was not okay anymore. I, 21, recently had a big fight with my mom. My brother, 17, has always been my mother's favorite, and no, I am not just saying this, but she tells this to everyone around her. So since we were kids he has been coddled his whole life. She checks his computer, his phone, barges into his room without knocking, even tries to hand feed him at this age. Anyway, he is a teen and now absolutely hates that he doesn't get his privacy independency. Anyway, it's COVID and he had this date with a girl. In my place, COVID is handled good so we can go to cafes if we follow the rules. My brother even told my mom about the date and guess who followed him all the way? My mom. She sat in a booth nearby pretending to hide, and then my brother said he went to the bathroom and his date followed him. He said that he did it because he saw our mom there and just wanted to kiss his date away from our mom's prying eyes. Anyway, they were there in for like 5 minutes when my mom barged in, physically separated them and yelled at the girl for ruining her baby and that she was a bad influence. It got worse up to the point the girl called our family bunch of creeps and left. My mom didn't stop. She was like, "Baby, did she hurt you? Are you okay?" And my brother, who never cried in public as a teen, called me crying to come pick him up because he was that embarrassed. I went and my mom wouldn't let him come with me because she said only she can calm her baby. That's when I told her he is calm and just freaking mad at her because she is treating her like he is 10 and that's embarrassing him. All this happened in the parking outside the cafe where my mom dragged my brother and his date out, and after I took my brother to my apartment, we talked and he doesn't even want to go back home because of many other incidents too. My mom is calling and texting saying I had no right to act like an asshole and embarrass her in public, and even my dad says my way of handling the situation is completely wrong. I still refuse to apologize, so does that make me an a-hole? Not the a-hole. Sounds like he's done with how she is and is trying to cut the apron strings. Yes. He loves her but says that being home is suffocating. I keep telling my mom that at this rate he won't even contact her as an adult in future. Not the a-hole. What your mom is doing is creepy and inappropriate and is going to ruin his life. I'm not being dramatic. Someone needs to help your brother set some boundaries with your emotionally incestuous mother now, and it seems like you're up to the task.